Welcome to Backstage at TCT. Please hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and hit the like button if you like this content. Today, we have our guest, George Hogan. Thank you, George, for being here so much.
Thank you.
So, please tell us a little bit about yourself, George.
Sure. So I grew up in Abilene, Texas, and I, at 19, went off to continue college in Nashville, and did my professional debut with the Des Moines Metro Opera Company at 19, and as Theseus in Midsummer Night's Dream, which was also filmed for PBS, and that was kind of the beginning of the career. After that, I was able to win some competitions and things like that. Worked for the San Francisco Opera Company through the Maryland Opera Program, and signed with Columbia Artist Management, and then started my singing around the world in the United States. And so operatically, I've sung on nearly every opera house stage in North America. And I had a lovely time at the famed Opera House in Sydney for a season, and then singing throughout Europe. So,
how did you get started with that? Was there a mentor in your life? How did you begin?
So it began with my junior high choir director, who introduced me to my high school choir director, who introduced me to my voice teacher, it's kind of interesting, the ripple effect I think that happens in many of our lives. You know, when one person pays it forward, and it seems to kind of cascade into other areas. So yeah, that's I had a very supportive mother and father and family, so I think I was fortunate to obviously be blessed with a talent, but I think also having great teachers that created a wonderful work ethic, I think really served me well moving forward.
So that being said, you've also, in New York City and also here in Texas, you have your own business, like voice teaching, voice instruction. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And how has it been in New York since COVID hit?
Sure. Well, I can tell you what it was like before COVID hit. It was fabulous, and I was going up once a month, and I had a productive studio up there as well as down here. Once COVID hit, I did an extensive learning curve with technology, and went through a lot of different platforms for virtual teaching. And so that was quite interesting and enjoyable, and I found some good platforms to use. And so COVID pretty much shut down what used to be NOLA Studios, which is where I was teaching.
Right.
And then of course it really didn't matter where you were in the pecking order in Broadway or opera. Things were shut down, and oftentimes for many of my students, their secondary job was shut down because of whether they were waiting tables or other venues were affected also by COVID. So out of that, we tried to, always loved opportunity, is often created out of conflict, so that's what we tried to do. So I went to about 38 to 40 Zoom lessons a week, and on other platforms as well. And started getting into my voiceover career a little bit more as well. All those things I was available to do at home. So.
Right. And now that things are kind of open and getting back together, are you able to do voice lessons and instruction here in Texas in person, or are you still doing everything by Zoom?
I do know some of my long distance students obviously still by Zoom, whether they're in Europe or New York. Locally, absolutely. Things are changing every day, so keeping a steady eye on that. As far as teaching outside of here, one of my good friends in South Philadelphia, we created a platform called Masterclass, and so we've been hearing singers from all over the world sing for us. We try to create a virtual stage for those performers that didn't really have a venue to sing at anymore, or at least during the COVID time. So next week I'll be traveling up to Philadelphia to see my compatriots in Masterclass, and many of those are, some won't be there because they're in Europe, but we have people from the Met and singers, actors, directors, and it'll be a fun reunion, I think. So.
Well, that's going to be very exciting for you.
Absolutely.
Now, we have the privilege at Temple Civic Theater of you directing their Playing Our Song, Neil Simon musical. So tell us about that. We're so excited. I think this is your first time ever
It is
directing.
my first time, and you know, we've tried to do it in the past, and our schedules have not coincided as well. I was unfamiliar with the show, I have to say, in the beginning, but of course, I've always loved Neil Simon, and being in New York in the late 70s and throughout the 80s, I feel like it conjures up many old memories,
Right.
if you will, right?
Yeah.
And so I have really kind of grown to love the music again. You know, it's a bit dated in some ways, but the poignancy is still there. And I've always loved Neil Simon's text. Very witty, very funny, and it's a lovely show. It's not a big show. There's only 2 leads with their respective 3 muses. The boys and the girls is what they call them. But it's a lovely love story, a bit of a roller coaster ride, but I think it has a happy ending.
And the 2 main characters is Vernon and Sonia.
Yes.
So give us a little synopsis on what that is about. What
So
their stories are.
Vernon is a Grammy and Academy Award music writer, and Sonia is an up-and-coming lyricist. And their agents have put them together, and so there for a while they're like 2 ships passing in the night. They're completely different and opposites. However, they come to grow. They love each other's work and admire that, but then they grow into a relationship that's turbulent and fun and funny and loving and just about everything you can imagine that goes into that recipe of a great relationship.
So it sounds like it's going to be a phenomenal show.
I think you'll enjoy it. I really do.
How would you describe your directing style?
So, you know, this is, my directing style kind of morphs to the people I'm working with and also with the particular show. So if I'm doing an opera, oftentimes I will skeletal it, if you will, and then we'll put the flesh and the blood in it later. This show we've kind of gone from a more psychological approach. I really wanted them to understand those characters, and especially both of my leads are relatively young, so they haven't seen a lot of life yet.
Right.
And so I wanted that flavor to steep a little bit. So we spent several weeks really investigating the characters and trying to get deep, layer by layer, into each one of these, so that there's a real realness, if you will, that comes out of those characters. And then what's happened then out of that, and I've done this before, is that it really organically kind of, I give them an area where I want them to work, and I'll help them when it's not, you know, making sense in the movement or something that might kind of assist them a little better getting to the meaning of the scene. But we've gone for a more organic approach in that regard. You know, it's funny, I hated working with those types of directors when I was singing.
Right.
Because I always thought, you know, these guys come in, they're not prepared, they haven't blocked the show, blah, blah, blah. But over a period of those years as a professional singer, and I really started working with some really phenomenal directors, doing that way, especially in an intimate show, it just really opened it up more for me as an actor. And that's what I wanted to try to assist these young actors in that, and really kind of getting out of the way.
And I think the cast that we have in They're Playing Our Song, most of them, it's their first time, I think almost all of them, it's their first time doing a show at Temple Civic Theater.
There are quite a few. I think we have, now Vernon, Ethan Matus, is, he was in 5 Minutes to Places.
Five to Places.
And then, but Emily Noor is new, but she's not new in the community. She's done things at UMHB, and she just finished a show at VLA. And then there's, I think collectively though, it is a young cast. It has a lot of youth and a lot of energy.
We're going to have that energy with that. And
really
so I'm very excited about that.
Absolutely.
And we're so excited to have, you know, new actors on our stage.
And we have a terrific team, I think. Trey Schonkweiler is our musician that's going to be putting all the music together, and it's...
Who did the musical score for this? They're Playing Our Song?
Yeah, that was
Hamlish.
Hamlish. Yes.
Who's an icon as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Neil Simon and him did a lot of
They did. You know, if you
together,
go
didn't
back and you've probably seen Barefoot in the Park.
Oh, yeah.
So those characters similar to Vernon and Sonia to some extent. So I almost feel like this was just
The next level?
It was always up for an award.
Yeah.
I think the only award it won, it might have been was in actually England. It wasn't in the United States.
Oh. Well, I know the show's going to be fabulous. It's our opening, it's our 300th main series production for Temple Civic Theater, which is huge.
It is. I have to say that I'm very honored to be a part of that.
Well, we are very proud and happy and grateful that you are here at Temple Civic Theater.
It is my pleasure.
We have now reeled you in, and we're not going to let you go.
I'm not going anywhere.
So we also have in our whole production, you're getting your hair and your makeup artist, your costumers, even the lighting. Right now you're in rehearsals in the other room today.
Yes.
And we have people there starting to paint the set.
Yes.
So tell us how, as a director, all those components, how do you put them together, and how important is just the costumes and the hair and makeup looks and the look of the set? How does that work with your whole vision of the show? I
think for me, the first place it starts is relationships. I want to create an atmosphere. I know a lot of people talk about a safe atmosphere. For me, I want to create an atmosphere where we have a lot of fun together. Certainly, you want to bring your goods, you want to be prepared and do your job, but I think the atmosphere is very important, and to feel appreciated. I think it doesn't matter. The way I was brought up is the person I always tried to appreciate the most was the janitor. You know?
Yeah.
And so we all have an extremely important job to do. Some of us might be out in the spotlight a little bit more than others. I would certainly not be able to be here if it were not for my team behind me. Incredible community, and I love the fact that they've kind of picked up my vision. You know, it was kind of interesting in the beginning. We were met with a few challenges and with the creation of the set and the design and everything. So I went ahead and designed some of the set, and it's morphed through all of us. So it's been this kind of a petri dish, if you will, for me to put some ideas in, and we all bring our own ideas to the table. So I really do feel like it's a collective production in that regard. I know Betsy is out there doing some painting right now. I told Penny, my wife, it was so lovely talking to Betsy the other day because I gave her my vision and she saw it in her head, which I've never had that happen with people. Brian, my stage manager, we've kind of laughed because he's become my Radar O'Reilly, and I'm kind of the Colonel Blake. That's kind of been my role. So before I can say anything, he's already
got it.
And then just so much support from behind the scenes as well.
So now, what would you say that your favorite musical of all time is, and why?
All time, my favorite musical is Man on the Launcha. I have sung it, directed it, conducted it many times, and I think the one thing that I always loved about that was the fact that what we do is an impossible dream. I know even some of us starting up, we're maybe discouraged, maybe we're encouraged. At times it seems impossible, but for me that show brings a lot of things, not just great music, but really a great message as well. So yeah, that would be my favorite.
That's your favorite.
Yeah.
So do you still like to perform in musical theater, like on stage? Would we see that happening anytime soon or in the future?
You know, I mean, I can't predict that. I love to act, and in fact, I mean, if I were 20 years younger, I would love to have done Vernon. I just really, I love these two characters. I don't think I could do Sonia, but I think I could have done Vernon. You know, who knows? I have no idea. I mean, I enjoy it. You know, it's a virus that I caught at a very young age, and I still have not gotten over it. So.
Well, and that's like many of the people that are here at Temple Civic Theater are actors, are behind the scenes people.
Yes.
So, and it takes a village. And
It
takes
does.
a village of volunteers at
It
Typical
does.
Civic Theater.
Yes,
George, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for asking.
On Backstage at TCT.
my pleasure.
Thank you very much for watching this episode. Please don't forget, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time at Backstage at TCT.